crowd. Lin Fugue, Xiao Guifan, aren't those the parents of the other woman? I just heard her say it herself. Oh my God, he made nearly $1 million in 3 months. He drained his wife's accounts to support his mistress and her whole family. This isn't cheating. This is outright fraud. The murmurs swelled like a tide, completely drowning out He Wenzhou's family. I walked up to He Wenqi, looked at her equally pale face, and spoke in a calm tone. Sis, as a doctor, you should know that people with high blood pressure shouldn't get too emotional. If your mother keeps this act up, I'm afraid she won't just be pretending to be sick. She'll end up in the emergency room for real. My words hit He Wenqi's heart like a sledgehammer. She looked at me, then at the undeniable bank statements, and finally at her mother and younger brother, who looked like utter fools. Her eyes were filled with wavering, shame, and a hint of collapse. I knew then. The first step in turning her to my side had succeeded. 05. The farce at the hospital finally ended with the security guards stepping in. The mother and son of the He family lost all their dignity in front of the crowd and practically fled in disgrace. But the feast I had prepared for them had only just reached the second course, just as He Wenzhou was supporting his tottering mother, ready to leave this place of trouble. A cool, crisp female voice called out to him, "Mr. He Wenzhou, please stay." The crowd automatically parted to make a path. A woman in a black professional suit, exuding a powerful aura, walked through the crowd with 2 assistants and stopped in front of us. It was my lawyer, Li Jing. Li Jing is the best divorce lawyer I could find in this city, known for her sharp tactics and undefeated record. He Wenzhou saw her and was visibly taken aback, his eyes filled with caution. "Who are you?" Li Jing ignored him, instead giving me a slight nod of acknowledgement, her eyes exuding the calm and confidence of a professional. Only then did she turn her gaze to He Wenzhou, pulling a document from her briefcase and handing it to him. "Mr. He, hello, I am Li Jing, the legal representative for MS Xiao Yu. This is a lawyer's letter. Please sign to acknowledge receipt. Additionally, I need to formally notify you, because you are suspected of illegally transferring marital assets during the marriage. My client has applied to the court for litigation property preservation. The court approved the application just 10 minutes ago. In other words, from now on, all the bank accounts, stocks, funds, and real estate under your name have been frozen." Li Jing spoke at a moderate pace, enunciating each word clearly. Every syllable was like a cold nail, ruthlessly hammered into He Wenzhou's heart. "Frozen? What do you mean, frozen?" He Wenzhou's eyes widened in disbelief, his voice completely changing in pitch. "On what grounds are you freezing my money? I earned that money myself." Li Jing coldly pushed up the gold-rimmed glasses on the bridge of her nose. "On the grounds that you broke the law first, Mr. He, your income is considered marital property. By transferring large sums of money to a third party without the consent of MS Xiao Yu, you have seriously infringed upon her legal rights. As for the specific legal provisions, I believe your lawyer will explain them clearly to you." Upon hearing the words, "frozen funds," the color drained instantly from Lin Weiwei's face as she looked at He Wenzhou. For the first time, her gaze held not admiration or affection, but panic and calculation. Zhang Lan, now almost unhinged, tried to rush at Li Jing to attack her. "You wicked woman, give my son's money back." But before she could get close, she was easily stopped by the male assistant standing behind Li Jing. The entire situation was completely under the control of Li Jing's team. This was a thorough, dimensionality reducing strike. Li Jing stopped looking at the mother and son making ugly spectacles of themselves and turned her gaze to He Wenqi. Her tone remained professional, yet carried a hint of warning. "Mess, He, as a public official and an intellectual, I trust you understand the law better than your family members do. I hope you can advise your family to calm down and actively cooperate with the subsequent legal procedures. Otherwise, things will only get more complicated." With that, she said no more, turned around to shield me, and prepared to leave. I walked over to He Wenzhou, who had completely gone limp and was leaning against the wall. I crouched down to meet his eyes. I looked at his eyes, the eyes I had once been so infatuated with, but which now held nothing but fear and malice, and said softly, in a voice only the two of us could hear, "He Wenzhou, are you curious about what I've been doing these past 2 months? Did you think I was at home crying, grieving over you?" He didn't say a word, just stared at me with a fierce, unyielding glare. I smiled. "No, I'm not crying, I'm preparing a fine pair of silver handcuffs for you. With that, I stood up and didn't give him another glance. Under the escort of Li Jing and her assistant, I made my way through the crowd and walked out of the hospital that had disgusted me for an entire day. Without looking back, the noise and curses behind me became nothing more than the backdrop to my victory. 06. I didn't go home, I don't want to spend another minute in that house full of lies and betrayal. Li Jing helped me find a serviced apartment with good security and a peaceful environment. The first thing I did was block all contact information for He Wenzhou and Zhang Lan. The world instantly became quiet. That evening, an unfamiliar number called. I answered, and on the other end came He Wenqi's utterly exhausted voice. Xiao Yu, it's us. I didn't say anything, quietly waiting for her to continue. The silence on the other end of the line lasted so long that I thought she had already hung up. Then, I heard her let out a long, deep sigh. Xiao Yu, what happened today? My mom and my brother were in the wrong. On their behalf, I apologize to you. Apologize, such airy, insubstantial words. If you're calling just to say this, then there's no need. I replied coldly, no, that's not it. He Wenqi's tone was somewhat urgent. What I meant was, I wanted to talk some sense into you. Xiao Yu, I know you're very angry right now, but can you please, for the sake of the child, give Wenzhou one more chance? As the saying goes, a harmonious family brings prosperity. It's common for couples to have disagreements, and there's no need to take it as far as divorce. It's not good for the children. She's at it again, this typical, muddle-headed way of smoothing things over. I can even imagine her frowning at this moment, putting on an earnest, "This is for your own good" expression. I cut her off directly. He Wenqi, are you telling me a joke? Your brother cheated during his marriage, got his mistress pregnant, conspired with your mother to transfer marital assets, plotted against the child in my womb, and even tried to swindle me out of my premarital property. In your eyes, is this just a marital dispute you've studied for so many years? What happened to your professional integrity and moral baseline? My accusations, like a series of slaps, landed on her face. On the other end of the line, she fell silent. Again, after a long while, she spoke in a tone bordering on pleading. But a child can't be without a father. I laughed, my voice dripping with mockery and ice. A father like his, better to have none at all. He Wenqi, let me make this perfectly clear to you today. My marriage to He Wenzhou, it's over, for good. Don't even think about trying to talk me out of it. I could feel her despair on the other end of the line, but I hadn't finished speaking yet. I hadn't yet placed the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Besides, let me tell you one more thing. What happened to He Wenzhou is no longer just a family matter. I also have evidence that he used company projects to accept kickbacks from partners. The amount is enough to put him away for several years. This is no longer a moral issue. It's a criminal case. Over the phone, I could clearly hear He Wenqi gasping sharply. Her breathing instantly became rapid and erratic. I didn't give her a moment to catch her breath and continued to drop my bombshell. I checked. One of those kickbacks, totaling 500,000, was first transferred to your account from a partner's boss to throw people off the scent. Then, on the very same day, you transferred this sum of money to He Wenzhou, although you may not have been aware of it, thinking it was just an ordinary fund transfer. In the eyes of the law, you have already become an accomplice to money laundering. Boom. I can almost hear the sound of something completely collapsing on the other end of the phone. He Wenqi's breathing stopped. I knew my words had struck her Achilles heel. She is someone who cherishes her reputation so much, who values her respectable job and bright future above all else. I delivered the final blow to her. He Wenqi, right now, I'm giving you a choice. Are you going to throw away your future, and possibly even face prison, just for your good-for-nothing little brother, going down with him, or are you going to make the choice that any smart person would make? Think it over yourself. With that, I hung up the phone directly. I look at the myriad lights outside the window, and my heart is completely calm. I know that He Wenqi will make the right choice, because selfishness is a trait etched into the He family's bones, and this was the final straw that broke the He family and brought them down at my hands. 07. Early the next morning, I sent a well-organized anonymous whistleblowing report, via encrypted email, directly to the disciplinary and supervisory department of He Wonjo's company and to the CEO's private email address. The report contained the complete chain of evidence regarding Wonjo's abuse of his position to accept bribes. There were transfer records, contract backups, screenshots of his chats with business partners, and even a recording of him boasting to me about how he lined his pockets after drinking. I chose a major internet company known for its wolf culture and zero tolerance for internal corruption. I knew that once this email was sent, Wonjo would be completely finished. Sure enough, the efficiency was astonishing. That same afternoon, Li Jing told me that Wonjo had been suspended by the company pending an investigation. He was taken directly from his workstation by personnel from the Ministry of Supervision. His company computer and phone were all confiscated and sealed, and his access to all internal systems was instantly locked. Within an hour, his status on the company's internal communication software had changed to resigned. A swift and decisive crackdown. It is said that Wonjo tried to contact former colleagues and subordinates who once called him brother to get information. It turned out that no one's phone could get through. WeChat messages were also blocked. When trouble comes, fair weather friends scatter like rats from a sinking ship. There is no greater example of how cold human relationships can be. In the evening, I received a phone call from Wenqi. Her voice was filled with unprecedented panic and fear. Xiao Yu, Wonjo, he was taken away by the company. I know, I replied indifferently. It was you, wasn't it? Yes, I did not deny it. There was a long silence on the other end of the line, broken only by her heavy breathing. I can imagine the intense inner struggle going on inside her at this moment. In the end, the instinct to survive overpowered that pitiful trace of family affection. He even bragged to me that at the end of last year, on that project in the west part of town, he took at least 300,000 in kickbacks from the supplier. She started to give me more details, like handing over a long overdue pledge of loyalty. She also told me that Zhang Lan has gone completely mad, planning to sell the house back in her hometown to scrape together money to hire the best lawyer in the city for Wonjo, to sue me, and to fight me to the bitter end. I listened, feeling nothing at all inside. Thank you for the information, I said to her. Then, as if casually, I added one more thing. By the way, Dr. If Wonjo's financial case ever goes to trial, as someone in the know, if you voluntarily cooperate with the investigation and serve as a witness for the prosecution, you might be able to secure leniency from the prosecutors. I didn't say it outright, but I knew she understood. Wonjo's world was visibly collapsing, piece by piece, and the final mountain that would crush him was fast approaching. My phone began to receive frequent calls and messages from Lin Weiwei. At first were curses, then pleas, and finally, it turned into a bare transaction. Xiao Yu, I was wrong, please let me go. I can give you back all the money Wonjo gave me. I just want the baby in my belly. As long as you show me mercy, I'll do anything. Looking at that information, I only felt disgust. Without replying a single word, I directly added her to the blacklist as well. I knew that once Wonjo, the big tree they all depended on to survive, fell, the parasitic vines and reckless monkeys on that tree would start scattering in all directions, and even turn on each other. As for me, I'll just make a cup of tea, sit back quietly, and enjoy the show. 08. Zhang Lan moved faster than I expected. She must have found out the address of my apartment. On the third day after I reported Wonjo, she showed up at my apartment building with a few burly relatives from the countryside. She sat on the edge of the flower bed in the residential compound, slapping her thighs and wailing as if she had lost her mind. She told everyone she met that her son had married a home-wrecking vixen who not only cheated on him but also conspired with her lover to embezzle the family's assets, and was now trying to send her son to jail. She portrayed me as a modern-day Pan Jinlian, vicious, promiscuous, and utterly devoid of conscience. The neighbors, unaware of the truth, stopped to gawk and pointed toward the apartment upstairs. I stood by the window on the 20th floor, coldly watching the clumsy farce unfolding below. My phone was recording the entire time. The neighborhood security guards quickly arrived and tried to persuade them to leave, but Zhang Lan was like a pile of mud, sprawled on the ground refusing to get up, even scratching the arm of a young security guard. The more she carried on, the more worked up she became. When she realized she couldn't get upstairs, she started cursing me with the most vicious language. Xiao Yu, you bitch. Get down here right now. You ruined my son. I swear I'll take you Down with me today, I'll settle this with my own hands. From her cloth bag, she actually pulled out a gleaming pair of scissors, wildly swinging them in the air. She looked utterly insane. The neighbors around her stumbled back in fright. The security guard immediately became tense and pulled out a walkie-talkie to call for backup. The moment I saw her take out the scissors, I knew the time had come. I waited until her emotions were at their peak, her words most venomous, and her threats most menacing, then calmly dialed 110 over the phone. I stated the facts in the calmest tone possible. Hello, I'd like to report an incident. Someone is causing a disturbance in my neighborhood, carrying a weapon, and making threats against my personal safety. The address is. The police arrived very quickly, facing the police in uniform. Zhang Lan remained as arrogant as ever. She turned the tables and accused me of being unfilial, claiming I was driving her to her death. I did not go downstairs. I simply sent the half-hour-long complete video I had just recorded, along with the screenshots of the curse and threat-filled text messages she had previously sent me, to the police officers who responded to the call. The evidence was conclusive and beyond refutation. In the end, Zhang Lan and the several relatives she had brought were taken away on the spot by the police on charges of picking quarrels and provoking trouble, and threatening the personal safety of others. What awaited her was 15 days of administrative detention. An hour later, He Wenzhou, already overwhelmed and under investigation at his company, received a call from the police station. When he learned that his mother had been detained for throwing a tantrum at my doorstep, he was completely dumbfounded. He tried to pull strings to get her bail, only to realize in despair that not a single one of his so-called close friends answered his call. He wanted to use money to smooth things over, only to realize in even greater despair that all the funds under his name had been frozen. He couldn't even come up with the money to hire a lawyer. In that moment, he truly understood what it meant to cry out to heaven and have no answer, to call upon the earth and receive no response. I timed it perfectly and sent him the very last message between us. Enjoy, this is just the beginning. After sending that, I also added his number to the block list. 09. He Wenzhou was completely trapped in a desperate situation, abandoned by his allies and rejected by his own people. His career was ruined, his assets frozen, and his mother taken into custody. What weighed him down were immovable mountains, one after another, and Lin Weiwei, the woman he once believed to be his true love, for whom he didn't hesitate to abandon his wife and child, ultimately chose to deliver the most lethal blow. Lin Weiwei was a smart woman, or rather, an extremely shrewd egoist. After confirming that He Wenzhou had no hope of turning the tables and might even face imprisonment, she quickly secured a way out for herself and the child in her womb. She proactively reached out to my lawyer, Li Jing, on the phone. She wept bitterly, portraying herself as an ignorant victim blinded by love, deceived and exploited by He Wenzhou. She vehemently denounced how He Wenzhou had pursued her with sweet talk, promised her a future, and step-by-step manipulated her into cooperating with the transfer of assets. To demonstrate her sincerity and remorse, she voluntarily handed over the designer handbags and jewelry that He Wenzhou had given her, along with a bank card containing 500,000 yuan. She said that all of this was ill-gotten wealth, and she was willing to return everything to me, only asking that I spare her for the sake of the innocent child she was carrying. She even provided a bombshell piece of evidence far more explosive than anything I had in my possession. It was a secret recording she had made of a phone call between He Wenzhou and Zhang Lan. In the recording, Zhang Lan is seen instigating He Wenzhou. Son, that woman Xiao Yu is too cunning. I can tell something's off with her lately, and delaying things will only cause more trouble. You need to think of a way to make the child in her belly accidentally miscarry, without anyone knowing. For example, add something to the soup she's drinking, or accidentally give her a push as she's going down the stairs. As long as you do it cleanly, no one will ever find out. We can just say she wasn't careful, and even turn it around on her, claim she didn't want the child herself. He Wenzhou hesitated for a moment on the phone, then he said, "All right, Mom, I know what to do." When Li Jing forwarded me this recording, I was tending to my plants on the balcony. After listening to the vicious conversation in the recording, I felt a chill shoot up from the soles of my feet straight to the top of my head. My hands and feet were ice cold. It turned out they not only wanted my money and my house, they also once wanted my child's life. They even wanted my life. this is not simply a case of infidelity and property disputes, this is premeditated murder. I gripped my phone, my body trembling uncontrollably, not because of fear, but because of overwhelming rage. I closed my eyes and took several deep breaths before I could barely calm the tumultuous waves crashing inside me. I touched my slightly rounded belly, feeling the strong heartbeat of that little life within. A wave of lingering fear surged through me. I felt grateful that I had come to my senses early enough. I'm grateful that I didn't give them any more chances to hurt me or my child. I replied to Li Jing's message. Accept her, surrender, tell her that I won't pursue any further action regarding the things she handed over. But in court, I need her to appear as a witness in person. He Wenzhou's last pillar of support. The one he called the love of his life. The woman he would rather betray the entire world to protect, ultimately, to save herself, chose to personally send him to the guillotine. What bitter irony! I looked at the sunlight outside the window and found it unbearably harsh. This is not revenge, this is self-preservation. 10. The day of the court hearing arrived quickly. I did not go to the scene. Li Jing said, I'm pregnant. It's not appropriate for me to go see those filthy people or listen to their foul words. She would handle everything. I sat in my new home and watched the entire court proceedings remotely via video. In the courtroom, He Wenzhou saw the two most unexpected people sitting at our legal counsel's table, his own elder sister, He Wenqi, and his so-called true love, Lin Weiwei. In that moment, the expression on his face was extraordinarily vivid, from disbelief, to rage, and finally to despair and utter stillness. The court proceedings held no surprises. Our chain of evidence was complete, conclusive, and irrefutable, from bank statements and records of asset transfers to the solid proof of He Wenzhou accepting bribes. Li Jing methodically presented each piece of evidence. He Wenqi's voice trembled throughout her testimony in court. She confirmed that He Wenzhou had used her account to facilitate an illegal transfer of 500,000 yuan. Her face was etched with shame and regret. Lin Weiwei, in turn, became the final straw that broke He Wenzhou. In tears, she accused He Wenzhou before the judge of how he had deceived and abetted her, and she played the fatal recording about the accidental miscarriage. In court, after the recording was played, the entire courtroom erupted in an uproar. In the defendant's box, He Wenzhou completely lost control of his emotions. He was like a trapped beast, furiously cursing Lin Weiwei as an ungrateful wretch he had raised. In the end, he was forcibly held down by the bailiff before calming down. The moment the verdict was announced, I turned off the video. As a result, Li Jing quickly sent me a message to let me know. The court announced the verdict in court, ruling in favor of all my claims. The court ruled to dissolve my marriage with He Wenzhou. All marital property, including nearly 1 million yuan in funds he transferred to the names of Lin Weiwei's parents, shall be awarded to me. He Wenzhou shall leave the marriage with no share of the property. Furthermore, given the clear facts and solid evidence of his duties-related embezzlement and commercial bribery, the court transferred the criminal leads to the public security authorities for separate case handling on the spot. He Wenzhou was taken directly from the defendant's seat by the bailiff and placed into custody. It is said that as he was led away, his eyes kept searching through the crowd, finally settling on the video camera lens. Through the screen, he stared at me with unmoving intensity. The look in his eyes was venomous, as if he wanted to devour me alive. And I simply turned off my phone calmly. Zhang Lan, just released after 15 days of detention, rushed to the courthouse without a moment's pause. She didn't witness her son's victory in court. She arrived just in time to see only his back as he was handcuffed and escorted into a police van. Her vision went black on the spot, and she fainted dead away at the courthouse entrance. The dust has settled. 11. After the divorce, everything became much simpler. I got back all the property that belonged to me, including the large luxury apartment I had fully paid for before marriage, the recovered savings, and a significant sum of emotional distress damages paid by He Wenzhou as the at-fault party in the marriage. I sold the marital home, which was filled with sickening memories, and bought a new top-floor duplex in a riverside neighborhood with a better view. On the other side of the city, spacious views and plenty of natural light. I have prepared the largest, brightest nursery for my soon-to-be-born baby. He Wenqi sent me a very, very long apology text message. In the message, she was filled with regret and a sense of relief. She said that her blind loyalty to an idealized view of her younger brother had harmed both me and him. She said she had finally seen her own family for what they truly are, and she felt utterly ashamed. she said she had already submitted a request to the hospital to be transferred away from this city that had broken her heart. Finally, she wished me and my child happiness in the future. I read the message but did not reply. Some wounds, once inflicted, can never be fully healed. It's not as if a single, "I'm sorry," can reset everything back to the way it was. Silently, I deleted the messages. Li Jing also told me what happened next with Lin Weiwei, that clever woman, after testifying in court and receiving the letter of leniency issued by my lawyer, vanished completely. It is said that she went to the hospital immediately to abort the child in her womb. Then, using the 500,000 that I had, magnanimously, chosen not to pursue, she bought a plane ticket south and started a new life. I was not surprised by this in the least. For someone like her, a child is nothing more than a bargaining chip for advancement, a tool for exchanging benefits. Now that the chips are worthless and the tools are useless, it's only natural to discard them right away. I just feel a little sorry for the child who never made it into this world. On a sunny afternoon, I went back alone to the apartment that was once our marital home, to take care of the last bits of odds and ends. The place felt empty. Most of the things had already been cleared out by the agent. In the air, there was a faint smell of dust and decay. I did not go inside. I just stood at the door and quietly looked in for a moment. Then I turned around and locked the door. Without a second thought, I threw the set of keys that had once symbolized home into the trash bin downstairs. Everything from the past is over. I never need to look back on my life again. Half a year later, I successfully gave birth to a daughter. She is very healthy and very lovely, with facial features that resemble mine. I named her Xiao Wang, which means hope. I hope her life will always be filled with sunshine and hope. My parents moved from our hometown to live with me and help take care of Wang. The once quiet and empty big house instantly filled with laughter and joy. Grandma's singing, grandpa's laughter, and Wang's babbling whispers became the most beautiful symphony in my life. I quit my previous design job and used my savings to set up my own independent design studio. My career has been flourishing. I am no longer someone's wife or daughter-in-law. I am Qiao Yu, the mother of Qiao Wang, my own queen. Occasionally, I would hear some news about the He family from Li Jing. After a serious illness, Zhang Lan sold the ancestral house in her hometown and borrowed money from everywhere to hire the best lawyer for He Wenzhou to appeal. But all appeals were rejected without exception. In the end, He Wenzhou was sentenced to 8 years in prison for multiple crimes. It is said that in prison, he had a sudden change of heart and finally remembered my worth. He began to write to me frequently, through various channels, and had people pass on messages. The content was nothing but repentance, apologies, and reminiscence of the good old days. He said that his greatest regret was having met Lin Weiwei and betraying me. He said he was willing to spend the rest of his life making up for the wrongs he had done to me and our child. I looked at those letters, felt nothing inside, and even wanted to laugh a little. If I had known it would come to this, I wouldn't have done it in the first place. On a sunny afternoon, I was sitting on the balcony holding Wang, soaking up the sun. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was a text message from an unknown number, just a short sentence. Qiao Yu, I regret it. I knew it was him. I looked at the message and didn't let my eyes linger for more than a second. I directly deleted the message and blocked the number. Then, I lowered my head and gently planted a kiss on my daughter's smooth forehead. The sunlight fell upon us, warm and bright. My life no longer needs that dirty past, nor that cheap regret. My new life has only just begun. Story 2. I slumped on the sofa, staring blankly at the 3 little beans sitting in a row across from me. The 3 main siblings can be summed up in a few words: a mother who died young, a neglectful father, a scheming stepmother, a vicious stepsister, and the 3 broken pieces that are them. The system's electronic voice echoed in my mind. That vicious stepsister is me. I pointed tremblingly at myself. Yes, with an expressionless face, I refused. I'm not cut out for vicious deeds. A reward of 100 million. The corners of my mouth twitched uncontrollably. But then again, who could possibly be more vicious than me? As I spoke, I lunged at the 3 little munchkins with 0-frame startup. Go, host, bully them, crush them, amidst the system's cheers and the little munchkins' cries for help. I went wild, pinching their chubby little cheeks. The 3 bewildered munchkins endured my cheek-pinching assault for half an hour. Having thoroughly satisfied my urge, I settled back onto the sofa, cleared my throat, and declared, ahem, with your dad not home, I'm the boss of this house now. You'll all listen to me, understood? The three little munchkins, their cheeks flushed red, exchanged confused glances with each other. He Tianxiao answered in a childish voice, got it. The two older brothers covered their sister's mouth and glared at me warily. We're not listening to you, huh? What did you say? If you don't listen to me, I'll deal with you right now. I grabbed the feather duster from the table, eyes flashing with menace as I threatened. Who's not listening to me? Step forward. Big brother He Tianlin stepped forward to shield his younger siblings. Don't even think about bullying us. I whispered demonically, I love bullying children best. I can handle 3 brats like you at once. With that, I raised the feather duster. Wait, don't hit my brother. I stopped. Oh, then you go first. He Tianchi tugged at her brother's sleeve, leaned close to his ear, and whispered, brother, a wise man knows when to retreat. Let's pretend to listen to her for now and figure things out later. After a moment's thought, He Tianlin nodded reluctantly. The two little sprouts put on serious faces. We'll listen to you. I slumped back onto the couch. Now this is more like it. Then I ordered the eldest to massage my back, the second to knead my legs, and the third to fetch me water. Both the system and I let out sinister, laughter in our minds. Young mistress, the master's assistant called, saying the eldest young master got into a fight at school and parents were summoned, but the master is currently abroad. Could you trouble yourself to go? I refused outright, watching the old butler leave with sighs and groans. I grabbed my car keys and headed out. Host, where are we going? To school. But the school doesn't have scenes for us. Tong Tong, tell me, what's my current identity? The wicked stepsister, I said solemnly. The wicked stepsister is just superficial. Actually, I'm an actress. Tell me, what's the most important thing for an actress? What is it? Stealing the spotlight. Of course, right, stealing the spotlight. Daring to bully someone I want to bully. How could I, being this vicious, possibly tolerate that? That's absolutely unacceptable. So I'll show them what a wicked stepsister is capable of. Charge, let them see what we're made of. In the office, children's wails mingled with the shrill scolding of women. Nobody wants you, you little bastard. How dare you hit my son? I'll make sure your whole family gets kicked out of Beijing. Bang, I kicked open the office door, crossing my arms. I sneered. Oh, so full of yourself. Did the Animal Protection Association put you up to this? The plump woman pointed at me. You little bitch, who the hell are you? Since when do you get a say? I taunted. What, are you the only one with a mouth, yapping all day long? If your mouth's so idle, go lick a toilet. The woman with her meticulously applied makeup twisted her face in rage. How dare you? The teacher quickly stepped in to mediate. All right, let's both calm down. And you are? What relation do you have to He Tianchi? Didn't their parents come? I glanced at the child, his face scratched in several places, his hand bitten once, while the chubby kid opposite looked even worse off, sporting a bruised and swollen face. Silently, I remarked to the system, seems like we didn't lose. The system hummed in agreement. That's how it looks now. But since no parent showed up to back him, the little protagonist was forced by the chubby kid's parent to kneel and apologize. Stubbornly refusing, he got slapped twice out of spite, while the teacher just stood by. I stepped forward. I'm the parent. The woman started cursing like a shrew again. No wonder they're so ill-mannered. Turns out they're fatherless, motherless bastards. I replied with serene indifference. Who's barking like a dog? The woman charged over furiously. Who are you talking about? The teacher quickly intervened. Parents, let's focus on solving the problem first. It's like this. Classmate Jean Xingbao accidentally broke classmate He Tianlin's pocket watch, and classmate He Tianlin hit classmate Jean Xingbao. They're just kids. It's normal for conflicts to arise during play. Adults shouldn't take it too seriously. Why don't we have Tianlin apologize to Xingbao now, and everyone can shake hands and make up? Enough, I interrupted the teacher. First, whether it was accidental or intentional damage isn't something you can just claim without proof. Second, it's not just my child hitting hers. My child is injured too. This is mutual fighting. Third, this little fatty deliberately broke our things and then hit us. That's called school bullying. Fourth, the ones who should apologize are this little fatty, his mother, and you for trying to smooth things over. Seeing that I wasn't easily fooled, the teacher hesitated and said, It's not as serious as you're making it out to be. Classmate Xiaopang is still young. How could it be school bullying? It's just kids playing around. The woman angrily stepped forward and interrupted the teacher. I don't care who's right or wrong, so what if my son bullied him? He hurt my son, so he must pay the price. He needs to kneel and kowtow to apologize to my son, otherwise, I'll make sure your whole family suffers. The system fumed. Host, this woman is utterly unreasonable. She's being deliberately obstructive and throwing a tantrum. I raised an eyebrow. So you're saying if we beat you up, kneeling and apologizing would earn your forgiveness? He Tianlin's raised head slowly lowered again. Little Fatty quickly jumped out and pointed at He Tianlin, right? Make him kneel and apologize to me, then I'll forgive you, okay? I immediately grabbed the woman by her hair and kicked her knees to make her kneel on the ground. With one hand, I slapped her across the mouth. You want kneeling, huh? Smack. You want me to kowtow, huh? Smack. You want me to apologize, huh? Smack. Fine, fine. After I finish beating you, I'll kowtow and apologize. Smack. Don't rush. We've got all day. Smack. Ah. The woman screamed in terror and pain. Help, help. Ah, you bitch, I'll kill you. Slap, slap, slap. I struck several more blows in succession. Look at you, perfectly fine except for that mouth of yours. How does everything you say make people want to slap you? My hands never stopped moving. Don't worry, I'll kneel and apologize once I've had my fill of slapping. Ah, help me. He Tianlin instantly raised his head, staring at me dumbfounded. The teacher snapped out of her shock and let out a piercing scream. Ah, how could you hit someone? You need to. I flashed her my most nuclear-friendly smile. Teacher, if you'd like, I can also kowtow to apologize later. The teacher's outstretched hand froze mid-air, eyes widening in terror. Seeing the teacher had gotten the message, I continued amidst the system's cheering. The office echoed with loud slaps and a woman's piercing screams. Little Fatty had already retreated to a corner, trembling uncontrollably. Ah, I was wrong. Please let me go. I stopped my hand. What did you say? Can't hear you. Who was wrong? Me. I was wrong. Fatty was wrong. Fatty shouldn't have bullied classmates. I shouldn't have cursed at you. I was wrong. Please let me go. I maintained my benevolent smile. I haven't kowtowed to apologize to you yet. No. It's not your fault. No need to kowtow and apologize. I was wrong. It was Fatty's fault. We apologize to you. I straightened up and clapped my hands. Teacher, you see how this matter, the teacher stammered. This, since little Fatty's parent has admitted fault, then this matter. I grabbed the chubby kid who was curled up in the corner by his collar. Wah, mommy save me. Little Fatty's mother screamed in terror. Let go of my son. Calm down. Look how worked up you all are. How could I possibly bully a kid? I'm actually a really good person. I placed the chubby kid in front of He Tianlin. The little Fatty collapsed on the ground, trembling uncontrollably. He Tianlin stared at me blankly. I growled menacingly. What are you looking at, you little dimwit? He kicked the chubby kid's butt. Apologize now. I'm sorry. He Tianlin, I deliberately broke the things your mom left you, tore up her photo, and called you a motherless bastard. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. I'll never do it again. Host, that little Fatty is so evil. To think he did such terrible things. I hauled the chubby kid up by his collar again. So you've done something this terrible and said such awful things. Little Fatty wept bitterly. I was wrong. I'll never do it again. He Tianlin completely ignored the chubby kid. He looked up at me with sparkling eyes. Let's go home. I disdainfully set down the terrified chubby kid. I reached out and patted He Tianlin's curly hair. Let's go. Wasted so much of my time, honestly. I strode out with my long legs while the kid panted and trotted after me. I stopped and clicked my tongue. Short legs. What a hassle, lifting him effortlessly with one hand. I settled him onto my arm. The child froze momentarily before timidly wrapping his small arms around my neck, burying his face against my shoulder. Time became immeasurable until I felt faint dampness seeping through my shoulder fabric. My footsteps hesitated briefly before I continued walking forward. The system asked cautiously, Host, why is he crying? I spoke earnestly. See, you don't understand again. We're the wicked stepsister, first and foremost. We need to make the protagonists feel our wickedness, right? Exactly. We taught little Fatty and his mother a lesson. This is called killing the chicken to scare the monkeys. With this move from the wicked stepsister today, wouldn't you be scared, afraid? I understand. The little protagonist saw our cruelty and learned our vicious true nature. Scared to tears, I nodded approvingly. The boy is teachable. The system happily spun circles in my consciousness. We're just two. Awesome. That evening, the old mansion was ablaze with lights as the patriarch threw a birthday banquet for his eldest grandson. The parents hadn't returned, and Tianxiao was still too young, so as the eldest, I had no choice but to take the two little ones to the banquet. The petite Tianqi reached out to grab a small cake from the long table. I saw this one first, shouted a child slightly taller than Tianqi. Tianqi turned her head to glance at him, then went to pick another one. The child shouted again, I want this one too. Tianqi glanced at him once more before reaching for something else. The child rushed forward to snatch it, yelling, these are all mine. During the struggle, the child scratched Tianqi's hand hard, causing the cupcake to fall to the ground. Tianqi shoved him forcefully. The child plopped down on the ground and began wailing loudly, Dad, Mom, the jinx bullied me. A middle-aged couple dressed in luxurious clothes hurried over. Oh dear, my precious son, how did you end up on the ground? Who bullied you? The woman made a fuss while comforting her son. The man saw Tianqi standing helplessly nearby and immediately grabbed him without saying a word. Someone yanked him over forcefully, reaching out to twist his ear. Ah, the man cried out in pain as I gripped his wrist hard. Let me go now. I withdrew my hand. How can you bully the weak with your strength and numbers? Who do you think you are? This is our family matter. I'm teaching my brother's ill-mannered child a lesson. Outsiders have no right to interfere. The man glared at me angrily. The commotion gradually drew scattered onlookers. I scoffed lightly. I'm no outsider. They're under my care now. Under your care? What kind of? The man's words were cut short. The woman's shriek cut him off as she pointed at me. I've got it. You're that fox spirit's baggage. More and more onlookers gathered. Whispering and staring at me, the woman strode toward me, looking me up and down with disdain, just as I thought, brought here by your fox spirit mother. That same seductive face, your mother would have to grovel before me just to step through our door. Our family affairs are none of your business, you little bitch. Now kneel and apologize, both you and this jinxed brat, and I might consider letting this go. Otherwise, otherwise what? I stared at her coldly. She wore the smug expression of a petty person who'd gotten their way. Otherwise, you and that slut of a mother of yours can get the hell out of the He family. Slap. Ah. A resounding smack echoed as the woman shrieked, clutching her cheek. She stared at me in disbelief. How dare you hit me? You keep calling me a jinx, a seductress, a slut. Aren't you just begging to be hit? No need to drive me out of the He family. I'll send you straight to heaven right now. I blew elegantly on my fingertips and continued the beating. Smack, 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 smack. Ah 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 ah. You bitch. I'll fight you to the death, the woman screamed with a swollen face, swinging at me, only for me to effortlessly catch her hand and continue slapping her. Ah, the surrounding onlookers were stunned. The man finally snapped out of it, pulling the woman away and lunging at me. You little slut, how dare you? Ah, his nose was promptly slapped crooked by my palm, reaching up to touch it. The sight of bright red blood beneath his nose burned crimson in his vision, and he seemed on the verge of erupting into violence. What's all this commotion? Came an authoritative voice. The crowd parted to make way as an elderly man, leaning on a cane, strode forward with vigorous energy. Tianlin also hurried over from behind the old man to stand by his younger brother's side. Men and women alike turned to him as if they'd found their pillar of support, all rushing to voice their grievances. Dad, look at this little bitch, daring to bully your son and grandson right under your nose. She's completely lawless. Dad, you must drive her and her mother out of the He family. Just look at her arrogance. Grandpa, the child who had been too terrified to make a sound earlier now scrambled up and ran toward the old man, clutching his leg and pointing at me while crying, Grandpa, the little jinx bullied me. That bitch hit my parents. Grandpa, teach them a lesson. The old man looked at the miserable state of the three, his face dark as storm clouds, his piercing gaze fixed on me. then swept over He as he growled deeply, "Come here and kneel right now." He face turned deathly pale as he trembled forward. I grabbed his arm and stepped in front, shielding him behind me. The old man stared at me fiercely, his eyes murderous. "The system trembled. Host, we might be doomed," I scoffed. "What's there to fear? I'm the vicious supporting character," the system said. "That may be so, but this old man has considerable influence," I continued disdainfully. "So what? I'm the villainess." The system paused. "But, are we really not doomed?" I maintained my disdain. "No, I'm the villainess," the system said. "Can't you say something different?" The old man finally spoke. "Since you've come to our family, whether we acknowledge you or not, you must follow our rules. To be so arrogant and vicious at such a young age. He isn't learning any better either, being led by you to bully his cousin. I'm afraid our family can't tolerate you." Outwardly rebellious, inwardly I was celebrating with the system. "Hear that? He called me vicious." The system was equally thrilled. "Ah, we're amazing. We're officially certified as wicked stepsisters." The old man continued his attack. "The children of our family, our family matters. These aren't for an outsider like you to meddle in." His gaze shifted to He behind me. "Get over here." He had one small hand tightly gripped by her brother while clutching my clothes with the other. "Enough." I reached out to stop him, then I unleashed a furious tirade at the old man. "The Qing dynasty collapsed ages ago. Didn't anyone tell you? Seems your body entered the new era while your brain got stuck before liberation. Still playing the feudal patriarch who calls all the shots. Well, I'm the new generation's socialist successor. Who do you think you're bossing around?" Old man, he widened his eyes in astonishment, clearly not expecting me to dare speak to him so boldly. "What kind of rules do you have here? Do you even know what happened? Making the kids kneel without hearing both sides, accusing me of corrupting them without any basis. No wonder the children were so reluctant to come to the old house. No wonder their father specifically called to warn me to keep an eye on them so they wouldn't cause trouble." I pointed at them one by one. "Just look at this. This little troublemaker, bullying our kids like it's second nature. These two middle-aged bullies, jumping straight to hitting our kids. And then there's you, this old fossil, letting them twist the truth and punish our kids without a shred of fairness. Who knows how much injustice and mistreatment these three kids have suffered under your roof." I clicked my tongue mockingly. "A troublemaking brat, violent thugs, and you, this old hypocrite pretending to be deaf and blind, with a family full of troublemakers like this. How dare you lecture me about rules?" The spectators were so shocked they dropped their melons, probably never expecting me to be this bold. "You, how dare you?" The old man's face turned from green to red then white as he clutched his chest. I said nonchalantly, "Why wouldn't I dare? If you dared to do it, why wouldn't I dare to say it?" The middle-aged couple had already turned deathly pale with fright. The old man gnashed his teeth and shouted, "Men, beat her up and throw her out." The bodyguards closed in. The two children trembled in fear but immediately stood by my side, spreading their tiny arms and shouting with quivering voices, "Don't you dare hit her." The system sniffled into a handkerchief. "Such good kids. I'm so moved. Wah, let's not bully them anymore." While patting the children's little heads, I teased the system. "No way, system condemnation. You have no heart." I laugh mockingly. "What does a wicked stepsister need a heart for?" The bodyguards hesitate as they look at the two children protecting me. The old man commands, "Take them away at once. Make them kneel in punishment in the study." I casually brushed aside the bodyguard's hand. "Old man, you'd better get this straight. They answer to me now. It's not your place to order them to kneel." The old man looked like he was about to burst with rage. You, fine, fine." Then he turned angrily to the bodyguards. "What are you all waiting for?" I pushed the two kids behind me and stepped forward to meet the bodyguards charging at me. A left hook, a right roundhouse kick, a shoulder throw, an arm lock, a rear naked choke, and finally a backflip landing gracefully on my feet, watching the fallen bodyguards scattered across the ground. Everyone seemed struck by lightning. Who am I? Where am I? What just happened? I asked nonchalantly. Anyone else, apart from the admiring gazes of He and his brother, everyone else looked at me as if they'd just eaten something disgusting. The scene was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The system emitted a piercing shriek. So handsome. Absolutely dashing. the wicked stepsister is unstoppable. I clapped my hands. Okay, problem solved. The old man gritted his teeth so hard they nearly shattered, but he didn't speak another word. I crouched down and pinched Tianqi's little cheek, then pointed at the untouched snack table in the distance. Go get whatever you want, as much as you want. Let's see who dares to take it from you now. Tianqi glanced at his grandfather and uncle, then at his cousin who was crying from fright, and nodded at me. He ran to the back counter, picked out 3 small cakes, brought them over, handed one to me first, then gave another to his brother. The system wiped away tears with relief. What a good kid, woo woo woo. I also said approvingly, this boss's position is still as solid as ever. Only then did everyone realize with hindsight, this bloody incident was actually triggered by a tiny cake. As the banquet dispersed, the crowd stumbled out in a daze, while I triumphantly led my 2 children back home. That night, I was once again enslaving the protagonist trio. The eldest gave me a shoulder massage, the second peeled pomelos for me, and the youngest fed me strawberries. What a blissful life indeed. The only discomfort was an itch on my back, so I ordered the eldest to give me some pounding there. It felt slightly better, but the strength was too weak. Still not satisfying enough, I shooed them all away to play elsewhere, then scooped my little sister onto the sofa with one hand. Lying face down, I had her step on my back. The system remarked sarcastically, "You sure know how to enjoy yourself." I sighed deeply. So comfortable. After stepping for a while, I felt it was about enough and had her get down. As I turned over, I accidentally caught a glimpse of my sister's legs peeking out from under her skirt. My gaze froze. I sat up, pulled her over, and gently lifted her little skirt just above her knees. There's a bruise on my thigh. I'm not seeing things, the system exclaimed. What happened? We didn't hit her either. The 2 boys noticed it too and gathered around with concern. Xiao Xiao, did someone bully you? Xiao Xiao, who hit you? Tian Xiao froze instead, replying slowly, no, there isn't. Tianqi pressed anxiously. Then what's going on? Tian Xiao answered blankly, I don't know either. With a grave expression, Tianqi asked her sister, when did this appear? Are there any more elsewhere on your body? I looked at the confused little girl shaking her head and her 2 anxious, stern older brothers. A bad suspicion rose in my heart, and my expression darkened. The system was still making a fuss. Could someone have stolen our scene? We didn't even hit her, yet someone dared to hit our person. This infuriates me. This absolutely infuriates me. I stopped the panicking system and said, calm down. If she'd really just been beaten up, that'd be manageable. But I'm afraid this isn't so simple. The system paused and asked doubtfully, what do you mean? Is it worse than being beaten? I felt restless and agitated. She's not mute. If beaten, she would cry or scream. Spoiled children have delicate skin. Bruises from accidental bumps are normal, but bruises appearing on the inner thighs are suspicious. Worse still, she wasn't even aware of it.